When it comes to exercise and fitness, out of all the different variations of exercise methods, weight loss methods, routines, diets, one thing for sure is that one of the main things that we need to focus on as the basics is strength training. And the reason why strength training is essentially the foundation is because strength training helps with muscle maintenance, posture maintenance, and weight management. Now, essentially, before strength training, I generally suggest to my clients calisthenics, because that is the utilization of our own, body's weight and muscles. However, for many people, they may not have the strength in their muscles to throw their body weight around. Thus, strength training becomes the starting point in where you're going to use weights to develop the muscle groups of your body to have the strength to then at some point get into calisthenics. Now, the three things that I have here, muscle maintenance, posture maintenance, and weight maintenance, are so important because, number one, muscle maintenance is a part of our whole life longevity. As we get older, if we don't exercise or strength train, right, our muscles are not going to just stay strong and firm, especially, when you get out of the phase of being a child and you're no longer growing, right? So it's important that whether it's a little bit of light weight, medium weight, just some weights in general, that we exercise our muscle groups so that our body can still stay strong as we age. A lot of times, many people, they develop various muscle imbalances, certain types of, weakness in muscle groups because they do the basic, eat, sleep, walk, sit, right? Lift, basic stuff like, groceries and things of that nature that are around daily life. But what happens is after a while, if we're not training our muscles to continue to stay strong and firm, after a while, maybe you start to have a dominant arm that you use for a lot of things that gets stronger than the other. Maybe you start to develop, lower back pain somewhere because maybe you sit all the time, or maybe even when you're working, if someone's working like construction or something that is heavy on the body, they might start to just develop bad habits and where we're using our body's muscles in not the most tactical way. Thus, muscle maintenance through strength training helps improve that quality of life, and where if our muscles are strong, we can do tasks without over compensating the different muscle groups that we do unconsciously through habit. Now, number two, concerning posture maintenance, I find that other things as we get older and age, we do certain things that unconsciously start to train our muscles to take on certain postures. For example, as I being on the phone and looking down like this, maybe somebody has a little desk job and they sit and hunch over like that. Maybe someone has a standing job, also leaning like that, going into different muscle imbalances as well. So when you strength train, it keeps the muscles active to where they're balancing out each other, and your posture can still stay strong. And even when you do have things like, if you're looking at the phone all the time, right? Instead of that being your daily habit, when you strength train, though you might look at the phone all the time, through strength training, you still train your muscles to keep your head upright. So the time that you do this with the phone doesn't train your muscles to be just like that, because strength training is recorrecting the issue. The same thing with back pain. A lot of people get used to being like this, and after a while, you know, they start going. I see many older people, elderly people are like this, right? And it just doesn't happen over time. I mean, it just doesn't happen instantly. It happens over time that they start to get like this, and now they're walking like this. And I'm just looking like, oh my goodness. Maybe not knowing their medical condition, so no crazy assumptions. But if one was strength training, they could at least keep that posture, that stance, instead of starting to over compensate through going like this. And sometimes I see these people and I feel genuinely bad for them, because I'm like, to have to be like this, sit like this, like, I can't imagine how uncomfortable it is. But overall, strength training on a regular basis, just in life, helps to keep our posture strong. And most importantly, especially when we stand, strength training is important, because while our legs are used to us standing, you know, if we stand too long, our legs get tired, right? So strength training, especially concerning the leg muscle groups, helps the muscles to develop that resistance to where they can stand longer periods of time without, you know, getting too exhausted, without getting too buckled in the knees. Now, lastly, weight maintenance. When it comes to losing weight, strength training through building muscle helps to increase calories burned. Muscles grow, fat reduces. Of course, diet and stuff factor into all these different things. But in general, it's a great way to help with weight maintenance, because once you start to develop your muscles, your posture, it leads you into being able to lift more, lift longer, different endurance, right? All these things now you can do in more capacity, which then helps to overall maintain your weight. And if you push further into the variations of strength training, lose weight as well. Now, the basics of strength training is compound exercises. And when it comes to compound exercises is basically exercises that utilizes multiple muscle groups at once, instead of exercise that like isolate a muscle group. So for example, a bench press is not just working my chest, but it's also working the shoulders, a bit of the bicep, the tricep, the delts, right? And that would be a compound exercise, while a bicep curl is more now working just the biceps alone. So to start off strength training, one of the basics is to do compound exercises where multiple muscle groups are being utilized at once, because that helps sustain that maintenance, posture, and weight. And then, you know, after a while, you can go into the details of specific muscle groups. But with the upper body, it's overhead press. And I will say this, you could use dumbbells, kettlebells, right? When I wrote this list, I was more thinking about barbells, but I'm just gonna show the movements, and you know, you can always put barbell or kettlebell or dumbbell before these exercises. So you have overhead press, which is taking the weight and going like this, right? Well, sorry, like this. And this can be done with the dumbbells, kettlebells, barbell, right? That's the overhead press. Then you have bench press, where you're laying down on a bench and you are pushing forward. This is now working the chest, shoulders, biceps, triceps, right? Then you have bent over row, where you kind of lean forward like this, back posture straight, and then you pull. Now this is working the back muscle groups. Those three exercises work the whole upper body, shoulders, arms, chest, and back. Then for the lower body, you have squat. So, you know, squatting like this, We have lunges where you have, 1 foot forward. And I will make another video just more going through the details of this. 1 foot forward, like that. So squats work the quadriceps specifically. Lunges work the hamstrings, so quadriceps are the front of the legs. Lunges work the hamstrings, which are the back of the legs. And then calf raises, where you have the weight and your tippy toe on your calves, work the lower region of your legs, down at the bottom of your foot. That works the whole entire lower body. And lastly, mid-body, leg raises laying down. So in that, you're going to lay down on the floor, and let's say you're laying down like this on the floor. These are your legs, and you're going to raise your legs up, down, and then you can also hold weights above yourself to have some resistance to keep your body from coming down. And you go up, down. You can also have ankle weights and stuff if you want to add resistance. These 7 exercises, all you need within strength training, whether you're a starter, starting your fitness journey, and even in the middle of your fitness journey, you need just a maintenance routine. These 7 exercises are great for the whole entire body as basics. These are my go-to that I do as much as I can on a daily basis. And then I, depending on the day and how I feel, I might transition into, if I want to go superset, which is doing heavier weights, or maybe some days light sets where I'm, doing lightweight, a lot of reps. You play around. Maybe sometimes I do barbell, or I do kettlebell, or I do dumbbell. You get creative with it. But these exercises are the foundation, and then from there you can be creative with it and how you want based on preference. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. Like, share, and subscribe.